In a plot twist worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster, the seasoned R&B icon isn't just reflecting on a wild past, but now finds themselves at the heart of a high-stakes legal and personal battle, one that has the potential to reshape the music.
I said back in the day, people used to think that Kirk Burroughs and Diddy was lovers, or they had some kind of relationship like that. Remember I told you that? And you was like,
I remember that. You told me that years ago.
yeah, and you said to me, yo, you gonna speak about it? I said, nah, I ain't gonna speak about it, bro. You understand? I'm gonna wait till he speak about it. So people who had known that, I always knew that because I used to follow Puff to Kirk's house when we had the building and the red zone, and we used to take the money from those clubs and we had to drop it off at Kirk's house. So we wasn't dropping. He would, he was staying there. If you spending the night at another house and you got a apartment with your girl somewhere else, okay. So when I seen in the lawsuit that he said that Kirk said that Puff was SAing him, sexually assaulting him, sodomizing him, doing all kind of things to him, I first thought like, but hold up, they was lovers or they was, but that's his boss. So maybe the boss cannot have sex with people. The CEO can't have people that work for them. And that's why it becomes illegal.
Industry's narrative of power, loyalty, and scandal. In a tense and crowded New York courtroom, emotions ran high as Sean Diddy Combs, clad in a greenish-tan prison jumpsuit, his overgrown gray hair and thick beard adding to his weary appearance, stepped forward to plead not guilty to a revised indictment, carrying even more shocking allegations. The superseding charges accuse the rap mogul of orchestrating a system of forced labor and coercion, allegedly subjecting employees to relentless, around-the-clock work under threats of physical and reputational harm, even forcing a worker into sexual acts.
Sean Diddy Combs appeared in the closed Manhattan courtroom with gray hair and a gray beard, which reportedly left onlookers stunned. Diddy, wearing tan prison clothing, hugged all of his attorneys and ultimately entered a plea of not guilty. Trial attorney Misty Maris breaks down the impact of today's proceedings with Diddy's trial in May fast approaching.
The new indictment against Diddy is very impactful to the case. Not only does it add new charges, it also expands the timeline where the alleged criminal activity took place, and it also adds 2 new victims. From a defense perspective, this changes the game as far as strategy of how to approach all of the charges and all of the allegations at trial.
Combs previously pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Ahead of today's hearing, Diddy's lawyers made stunning allegations about the damning CNN surveillance video that appears to show Combs physically assaulting his former girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, at a LA hotel in 2016. In a letter to the judge, Combs' team is alleging CNN altered the video by speeding it up to make it falsely appear that the actions in the video are taking place faster than they are. They also allege that CNN ultimately destroyed the footage. A spokesperson for CNN tells Access in part, CNN never altered the video and did not destroy the original copy of the footage.
Sean Diddy Combs is pushing back with a new court request. 1 month after the rapper was denied bail for the second time, his attorneys filed a motion November 8th requesting bail once again, arguing that changed circumstances and new evidence should allow him to be released from jail ahead of his May 5th trial, according to documents obtained by E! News. The motion for bail claims that new evidence makes it, quote, clear that the government's case is thin. The defense also alleges that new evidence refutes the prosecution's claim that the March 2016 video of Combs physically assaulting a woman in a hotel occurred during a coerced freak-off or elaborate sex performance, as cited in the initial indictment. Instead, the motion claims that the video is a minutes-long glimpse into a complex but decade-long consensual relationship between Mr. Combs and Victim 1. Per the documents, his attorneys also argue that the new evidence refutes the prosecution's notion there was a, quote, potential second alleged victim. Combs, who was arrested in September on charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, and using transportation to engage in prostitution, has remained in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, since his arrest. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. E! News has reached out to the office of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York for comment and has not yet heard back. Combs' attorneys have declined to comment. During the September 17th hearing after Combs' arrest, U.S. Assistant Attorney Emily Johnson cited a 2016 video that was released this May in which she said the Bad Boy Records founder assaulted an unnamed victim.
His defense team, however, vehemently denies these accusations, arguing that every interaction was consensual and that the case is a distorted narrative fueled by opportunists seeking publicity. The courtroom spectacle was only part of the firestorm gripping public attention. Behind the legal drama, whispers of a scandalous tape began to circulate, one that unexpectedly thrust Usher into the spotlight. This is where the story takes a jaw-dropping turn. Usher.
Yeah, I agree with you in some ways. What I would just add is it's without question because they did not know that he was recording them. I mean, when I read through that lawsuit, Rodney made it very clear that he had hidden cameras. And if you are a person like LeBron who says ain't no party like a Diddy party, you got Ashton Kutcher talking about what happens at Diddy parties stays at Diddy parties. And finally you learn via the press that actually Diddy has been collecting evidence on all of you and you don't know where those tapes are. That will buy your silence for quite some time because you're hoping that if you keep your head low, you're not going to be revealed as one of these people that was engaged in some of these acts, whether they were heterosexual or homosexual, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're just cheating on your wife and you don't want that to get out into the public. Maybe you were, as Cat Williams described it, in one of the rooms. He said you could just walk around the house. He said this on stage years ago, that you could walk around the house and you would see people engaged in various sex acts. And again, Cat Williams was someone who was dismissed as crazy and dismissed as a drug addict. And it turned out that, or it seems that if these allegations are proven to be true, and I believe they are, then he was telling the truth. And I think that is the reason that so many of them are silent, because they were doing things. They thought that they were his friend, that they were bad boys for life, and that he would keep things silent when in reality, he was just another Jeffrey Epstein typed character. And they're scared for their lives. Yeah, especially if you're someone like a LeBron James, and I'm not alleging that he is caught in something terrible, but if he was caught in anything and you're LeBron James and you've made your mark on talking about the ills of society and you have minted yourself a king and you're speaking out on the Black community and they find out you're the room over while someone's getting raped potentially, not going to look good.
Chris did get the book from Courtney. Courtney has a more thorough copy of the book. When Chris published the book that was on Amazon, it was edited. So some of the passages were removed. Some of the pictures were removed. And I think there was like a foreword or something that was added to the book. So it is a different version, but from the same, what in copyright law is called derivative work. So it derives from that work that Courtney has.
And just to be clear, Courtney's work, Courtney's book, is it currently being sold anywhere?
I'm not exactly sure. I believe Courtney has I was about to say, here's a woo-woo, welcome to downtown Miami. But I believe he is selling it on a website. I only came into that knowledge when I received the cease and desist letter from Quincy and Christian.
Got it. And in terms of the content of the book, what is this book about, the one from your client?
So I haven't taken the time to read the book either, but to my understanding, it's Kim Porter's memoir. So it's basically Kim Porter's stories. I haven't read, I shouldn't say that, I haven't read the entire book. I have read several excerpts from the book, several pages from the book. I haven't had time to sit down and read it in its entirety. But to my understanding, it purports to be from Kim Porter about experiences.
A longtime confidant with deep ties to Diddy's checkered past appeared in court with what some suspect to be a hidden agenda of his own. Could the tape, rumored to contain explosive revelations, be intended to expose more than just the alleged misdeeds of a media mogul? And if so, what ripple effect might this have on the powerful alliances and long-standing relationships that have shaped the lives of these iconic figures? As the legal battle escalated, the tension in the courtroom was palpable. Diddy's family, his son Christian, daughter Chance, and mother Janice Combs, stood by his side, joined by his inner circle, all bracing for a trial.
Sean Diddy Combs headed to court March 14th for an arraignment, and his appearance is making headlines. Per NBC News, the music mogul entered the legal proceeding with gray hair and a gray beard, a notable difference from how he looked prior to his September 2024 arrest. Also on hand were members of Combs' family, including his mother Janice and 2 of his kids. As for why Combs was in court, during the arraignment, prosecutors unsealed a superseding indictment against the rap mogul, accusing him of forcing employees to work long hours and threatening them with retaliation. Combs pleaded not guilty to the allegations. The March 6th indictment obtained by NBC News did not add any new charges for Combs, who previously pleaded not guilty to federal charges related to racketeering, prostitution, and sex trafficking after his September arrest, but did detail what prosecutors described as, quote, forced labor at the hands of the rapper in connection with racketeering conspiracy. E! News has reached out to Combs' legal team and has not yet heard back. Prosecutors argued in the filing that Combs maintained control over employees whom he forced to work long hours with little sleep through use of, among other things, physical force, psychological harm, financial harm, and reputational harm and/or threats of the same. The document, which replaces the previously filed indictment to include more information regarding the case, said that Combs' alleged tactics caused these employees to believe they would be harmed, including losing their jobs if they did not comply.
According to a report by CNN, jurors on Thursday were expected to hear from a witness who claimed he was allegedly in possession of videos that contained footage of celebs being potentially victimized by the Bad Boy Records founder. The witness, who reportedly hasn't filed any suits against Combs and is not claiming to be a victim of him, says he has information and evidence about sexual abuse and other misconduct by Combs, some of which allegedly involve celebrities. But according to the witness's attorney, Ariel Mitchell, who also represented 2 of Combs' accusers in their lawsuit against the mogul, she said her client was subpoenaed. According to another report, the witness told TMZ he was initially contacted by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security. And he's previously done interviews claiming he's seen salacious videos of Diddy and his celebrity friends. Sources told the outlet the subpoena from federal prosecutors asked the witness to turn over all records, including thumb drives, hard drives, electronic storage devices, or devices containing videos and/or other files depicting Diddy. But that witness would drop another bombshell, as he claims he was given 11 flash drives containing at least 8 sex tapes involving 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women. Courtney Burgess told News Nation's Banfield on Thursday among the 8 celebrities who were Combs' alleged victims, about 2 to 3 appeared to be minors. Burgess told Ashley Banfield in an interview with his attorney Ariel Mitchell, every single celebrity appeared to be under the influence in the tapes and were seemingly victims, not perpetrators.
Set for May 2025, with relentless cross-examinations, heated exchanges, and pointed allegations dominating the proceedings. One detail refused to fade from the public's mind: the controversial tape. Fresh reports suggest that the footage not only shed light on unexpected aspects of Diddy's behavior, but also delivered a shocking twist, one so explicit and consequential that it threatened to upend the entire industry. And at the heart of it all was Usher, stepping in at a pivotal moment to confront the situation, a move that could change everything. Usher, who once spoke candidly about the wild parties and unusual experiences he witnessed as a teenager living with Diddy in 1990.
I think any of us outside of those who, the Silvers and place and people like that, are the DeBarge family, those people who started super young can even relate to what Michael was talking about. I understand when he says, I hate touring, 9 times out of 10 because his entire life has been touring and has been being that and being ready, right? Yes. For me, it's a bit different. But I felt that it was part of what I signed up for when I decided. How would you say it's different?
Because it was your choice, you feel? Or?
Well, it's different in terms of whether I love or hate it. I have never hated touring. I love touring. Like, that is the one thing that's the most important part to me. But the only reason why I hate it now is because I don't get time with my kids. So the sacrifice that I have to make to not be there for them, whether they know it, I would rather, be able to have real permissive parenting where I can wake up every morning and have breakfast with my kids, take them to school, check on them, after school, and be able to try and have some sense of normalcy. Because great parenting hopefully allows your kids to grow up and understand what it is to work for something. If
Yes.
you're not there to instill it, and it's a bit complicated. So I hate that I don't get a chance to have that part. I love being able to perform. That's the most important thing that I said I would do when I didn't have kids. Moment I had kids, it's like, yeah, I don't really like being out there all the time. So I try to make the most of it when I do it. Yeah, that right there is the pressure that I feel every day. To try to live up to that guy right there.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, it's a commitment that I made a long time ago. If you want to be an artist, being an artist is like being a magician. Being an artist is like being a heart surgeon. You make people feel things. So you have to have that same commitment to whatever it is that you say you're gonna do, right? I want to be great at this, so I have to stay in the gym a little bit longer. I gotta rehearse this record a little bit longer. I gotta sing all night. I gotta, say no to some things that might, be fun and hang out with your friends.
That
No, you
takes
gotta
a
really.
lot of discipline.
Yeah, so discipline, but more than anything, a healthy, lifestyle. I just choose to have healthy habits. I fast every Wednesday. I do my best to work out at least 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week.
Wow.
And, just be happy with my friends and